welcome back to the Tarot Cottage. My name is Amy. I'm back today with a pick a card reading for you. A big welcome back to my returning subscribers. Thank you guys so much for being here and for your support of each other and your support of me, especially in the comment section. I really appreciate you guys being here and helping me to grow the channel. And if you are finding yourself here for the very first time, we just want to welcome you to this space. Please join us, grab yourselves a cup of tea or some snacks, and we'll have a little bit of a chat because we're all friends when we gather at my table. So today's pick a card topic is all about the person on your mind. And is it worth the wait, or should you give up on this connection? So we have three piles for you to choose from today. Pile number one here with the carnelian palm and the under my umbrella card. Pile number two here with the blue aragonite and the keys on trees. Pile number three with the hematite and the touch the sky. So whichever pile or piles are calling out to you, there may be a message waiting for you, and my timestamps are below. I am going to jump right into pile number one. Again, today's topic is all about the person on your mind and whether or not it is worth the waiting for, or whether or not you should give up on this connection. Pile number one. Hello, pile one. You were drawn to the red carnelian palm, or perhaps to the under my umbrella card, and this is your reading on the person on your mind. Is it worth the wait, or should you move on from this connection? This card is very optimistic. You're drawn to this card for a reason, and perhaps because there's an optimistic ending coming for you. There is something protective about this and very friendship oriented. So I don't know if this is a friendship connection that should have evolved, or perhaps did evolve to even a status of love. It may not have entered into a real relationship with this person, but it feels very loving and very protected. And there's a sense of danger too, because he's crawled up the neck of that bird and it could snap back at him at any moment, but he wants to protect it. So there's something kind of optimistic and hopeful about this card. So we shall see how that affects your reading. So pile number one. Is it worth the wait, or should you move on from this connection at this time? We have the Page of Wands. So already there's this feeling of a lot of curiosity and unfinished business or unanswered questions, or it's kind of reminiscent of those Adele songs that talk about, hearing that they married someone else, you married someone else. There's just this reminiscing energy. And unfulfilled potential, yeah. Unfulfilled potential in this connection. And I feel like the unfulfilled potential could have been a result of too much pride, maybe. There is a sense here of somebody feeling sort of overlooked as well. When in truth, their feelings were very, very intense. Very, very intense. And they've only grown. I will say that they've only grown. We have Two of Cups already on the back of deck with the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords is really indicating of so much overthinking that went into the potential in the past and has continued into the current state of the connection or the disconnection. Because I just feel like there's been this evolution. And the Tower is here because I feel like the hindsight is devastating. Hindsight is 2020, but it feels devastating because there was so much potential. There was so much lost. And now there could be someone within the dynamics of this connection that they feel helpless to create change. But what's very interesting, you'll see here that, the Tower represents those storms, but here's the rainbow that comes right after. It's like they've seen things in a full spectrum of light now. With the rainbow, they've seen things in the full spectrum. They've had epiphanies about you. And they have very, very intense feelings for you. Very intense feelings. but they're also an overthinker, and they almost feels like a bit of a perfectionist, looking for sort of the right exact moment to create some sort of havoc. We have the Magician and the Knight of Swords. This person is sort of really keen on closure, but Spirit says it's not closure they're actually keen on. They don't want closure. They want more. They want the communication that they have inside of themselves to express to you. They want that to amount to something more with you. And in this case for you, their feelings for you are incredibly, incredibly intense. Incredibly intense. Even right here in the center with the 9 of Cups, the 6 of Wands, they fantasize about you. They fantasize about an opportunity. And this is very current energy because they are very invested in you emotionally. And it's not just this interest anymore that the Page of Wands represents. It's so much deeper than that. And it almost feels like they want to sort of skip rungs in the ladder. If they had the opportunity to have a relationship with you, it's like they would be in love with you from day one, because that's how intense it feels. This person feels like they do have a lot of intent. Whoops. A lot of intent here. We have here falling, the unknown, descent, momentum, and change, and we have the Tower. Also on the floor, we have shine bright like a candle and uncertainty. Choose who you will become. It says you will make it through this. Now, what's very interesting about this, though, is that the question that we've posed to Spirit is the fact that is this worth the wait? Will this person move forward? Will there be any momentum created in this connection? And Spirit says there will be. The Magician is talking about manifestations that this person is currently attempting to create with you. And it's about communication. And we have movement in the future. We have the desire to clear the air and to express ourselves. Now, there is definitely fear associated with this momentum. Back of the deck says you are rare and free and there are not many like you. And that could be the very thing that makes this person sort of fuels their desires, but also makes them feel insecure. But we definitely see them wanting to charge in. The problem is that these two knights don't 100% know what the consequences will be of their actions or what they have to say. They're not 100% sure how that communication is going to be received by you. But Spirit says if you're looking for movement, if that's been your sign here to wonder if you should give up or if things are laying stagnant right now, Spirit says they may not lay stagnant forever, because you can expect some sort of opportunity or offer or communication to pop in from this person when you don't expect it. And it's like they're building up the courage. They are actively right now trying to gain the confidence to bring forward this shift and this change. Let's get some advice from Spirit. Advice, please, for pile number 1. Worth the wait. It says courage, ask for what you want. You may be also actively trying to manifest this. You may be trying to create change here as well. It says you are able to see what's in store for the future, foresight. To trust your intuition during this time, because you may sort of feel this momentum building up. Maybe that's why you're feeling a little bit restless, and perhaps you were drawn to this reading for a reason. But Spirit says to trust that intuition, and some of you may be actually driven to sort of reach out as well. There's this sense of needing the help. This person, they don't require it. They don't require it necessarily to make the momentum come to life towards this connection in the future, but it's welcomed, of course. The 6 of Swords does encourage sort of a helping hand in communication. They're really hoping that you'll meet them halfway, at least, in that communication when they do come forward. Back of the deck says, honor your soul's purpose. So it's about expressing yourself when you're given the opportunity, in boldness and vulnerability. Because this person's coming with their heart. It feels like their heart wide open. Advice, please, for pile number 1. We have here solitude. It's reversed. And I feel like there could be a very long-standing separation or even emotional separation, because there's two birds here that are not in flight. Two people that are not in flight or not in motion. And it's like two people who are both in this mindset of loss or in this mindset of helplessness, but there's a shift, there is a change coming in. We have the Wall as well. As I said, there could be reasons why there's going to be a bit of a delay here. Spirit's not even indicating that much of a delay, to be honest, but we haven't really looked into that at this moment. But this foundation is what builds up this wall. And sometimes we build foundations up in our life that are meant to protect us and create stability. And sometimes those are the very foundations that we then have to break down. But it's also really speaking to the protective force that your original card indicates, this friendship, this protective energy around this connection. They don't want to lose the opportunity because they care very deeply already. It's already well established. That's why it feels like a friendship. But Spirit says this is worth the wait. This is worth the wait. There will be movement in the future of this connection. Advice for, I have one from previous reading. Advice for pile number 1, please. In the bowl. The future of this connection. Oh, they're so slippery. 1, 2. So we have the King of Cups. This person could be a water sign, a Pisces, a Cancer, a Scorpio, perhaps. We have the Tower, and we have the Chariot reverse. So the Tower, as I said, can indicate that there are foundations in place that may need to fall in order for this shift to happen. And there is a message coming in for someone specific that this could have already sort of happened. There could have already been some Tower moments in your life or in their life that is going to initiate some of this change as well. It is also indicating sort of the epiphany that's come in for your person over time that has fueled the desire and the momentum towards change, but they are feeling a little bit stuck in this Chariot energy with it in reverse. Could be that they have a decision to make, or they're currently trying to navigate the road in which they know they have to take. Oh. In the bowl, we have here the Queen of Swords with this stone or this bead. We also have the Knight of Pentacles with the green bead. So slow-moving energy, somebody who has a lot of responsibilities. We have the Hand of Hamza. We have find joy in the journey. We have a bird that's not in flight, and then we have a key, and we have the hanger, right, all looped together. So there could be a little bit of a delay in some of this movement because somebody is sort of in the midst of a decision, but they're trying to retrace their steps, or they're trying to create a new plan of action, a new manifestation here with the fish bones. It makes me think of the Ten of Swords, but it's the white fish bones, so it means they're regrouping, making a new plan. All right, pile number 1, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. If it did, I would love to hear your story in the comment section below, and I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. If you do, be sure to hit your notification bell and your like button and drop me that comment so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. You can also check me out, my link below for Etsy if you are interested in a private reading. But I hope that you come back here for another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, pile number 2. You were drawn to the blue aragonite, or perhaps to the Keys on Trees card, and this is your reading. The person on your mind, is it worth the wait? Or should you give up on this connection? So the Keys on a Trees card really speaks about solutions that are possible here, even if there are perceived prisons that may be keeping us from creating solutions, because this elephant is stuck, or seemingly stuck, but he's not panicking because he recognizes that he just needs to find the most creative solution to find the right key to get himself off of that tower back into motion. So this could be a really good sign for the future of this connection, that there are solutions if we're willing to take the necessary steps. So let's take a look here. Is this connection worth the wait? So we have the Five of Swords. And And there really is a feeling of there aren't a lot of obvious solutions. And some of the solutions, and I'm putting air quotes around that, some of the solutions may be difficult to navigate or difficult to accept. We have the Ace of Cups. Because it just really screams out conflict. And conflict that ripples out into many different relationships, into many different realms. It creates a lot of problems when the Five of Swords is here. But that's why the Ace of Cups is here as well, Spirit says, because it's like great love is, or great new emotional starts, and something that can really improve our situation are worth the steps that we're guided to take. It's like some storms are worth weathering if it means we're going to get to that place. We have the Five of Cups, but there's so many reasons here. Three of Cups, Two of Pentacles. There's so much going on. There's so many reasons here why we would perhaps create all of these excuses. I use the word excuses gently, as to why it's difficult or hard to create solutions, but we don't want to give up either. The Two of Pentacles is really saying we don't want to give up at this moment. It's like we're not ready to, because we're still holding on to this hope, even though all of these cards are being paired with this Five of Cups, which again, a very conflicted type of energy, but Spirit says that the desire here is still great enough that we're not ready to give up on the possibility of solutions. And the Two of Wands. And that's what Spirit really wants to say here. Here's the Two of Cups. Here's the Lovers. It's all about the decisions that we make and whether or not we believe it is possible. If we see the Ten of Swords in the future position, a lot of times we'll say, you know what, that's it. There is no solution. There is no solution, because we're not going into it with that mindset. We're not going into it with the mindset that there are solutions and that we have to, and that's that Spirit is saying that we logically, especially with the Lovers, we logically know what those solutions are. It's just now undertaking the task of implementing a plan and executing that plan. But that's why Spirit, it kind of serves as a bit of a warning. They are saying there are solutions here. There are solutions here if you believe that it's worth those solutions. And they're sort of posing this question back towards you, Pile Twos, because they're saying that this Two of Cups, it can grow into something so huge and so big. And there's a lot of mutual, loving, beautiful energy here. And movement is possible if we believe that it's possible. And Spirit, they keep indicating that we're not ready to give up or to throw in the towel. We are very burdened. We're burdened by time. We're burdened by the solutions that we know we have to take. We're burdened by perhaps practical towers, practical foundations that may lie in the way, and the sacrifices that would have to lie in those realms, of course, if we execute plans. But they say that as much as we're not willing to give up, there's also a very strong tendency with the Five of Cups to spend too much time in a state of mourning, and then that opportunity flies away from us. And so the Ten of Swords comes in here, and I want to clarify this row before I go any further, because this doesn't feel like a finality type of card for me. But it is a warning from Spirit that nothing will change if nothing changes. If this elephant sits down in his cage, then his trunk will lower and his luck will change. But if he's creative and he's patient and he executes the necessary steps that he has to execute and takes risks, solutions may be possible. But it's like there could be other relationships here, and that's not for everyone, you know, but if it is for you, you'll know that it is. I don't think I even need to. Let's clarify that Ten of Swords, please. Eight of Wands. Back of the deck is the Ten of Cups. And that's what Spirit's really saying. We have the Ten of Swords, we have the Ten of Cups. And it's like both solutions, both opportunities are possible for us. And sometimes endings bring new beginnings, but Spirit says we have to be honest with ourselves and other people and look at it from an objective point of view, not an emotional point of view, because that's the problem with the Five of Cups, is that we're lost in that emotional reflection. We're lost in that state of mourning, and it makes us feel like that's permanent and there are no solutions. It's really hard to try to come up with creative solutions and try to come up with a plan when we're so sad. And when we're convinced that there's no solutions, or when we're convinced that there are no easy solutions. And Spirit says there may not be easy solutions, but there are solutions. We just have to then now discern whether or not this connection is worthy, or not even worthy, but worthwhile enough to take those steps. And the Six of Cups is talking about a very beautiful, sort of innocent, friendship-oriented love that it almost feels too good to be true. And when we feel so drawn, sometimes it's easy for us to feel like, it's a very unrealistic expectation, or our ego will fuel that belief system. Well, that's really unrealistic for you to hope for that. But what it's actually communicating to you is, I really hope you don't put across the effort to creep out of this comfort zone, because then I failed and I haven't done my job. The Eight of Wands is all about movement. and it's a very stark contrast to the Ten of Swords. You can see this person is blowing dandelions in the wind, because wishes can come true, but we have to execute them. They're actually actively blowing, with clarity. They're forcefully pushing that wish into the wind. We have here, who in the world are you? Getting to know the new you. And it almost looks like here a ship behind that's starting to sail. It almost looks like an explosion, like something's on fire. There's this egg filled with potential, but it's also filled with some sort of temptation too. It's like something has to break down in order for something else to happen. Spirit says it's like we know what we have to do. We just want an easier solution or an easier path, and that's unfortunately not what is going to help us ascend. In this case, we have here the mortality card. Life is brief, bright, beautiful, and yours to live. You may feel stuck and stagnant and wanted to come out reversed. And we have here impossible things. But this is sort of like the death energy. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And what lies on the other side of those pillars in the death card is enlightenment and new beginnings and truth. And this Ace of Cups, the impossible things card, says working through disbelief, imaginative leaps, and a fresh perspective. And that's exactly what Spirit is asking for here with the Ten of Swords. It's a fresh perspective they're looking for. Leading from a heart space of optimism and love and purposeful action and honesty as well, being honest with ourselves and other people. Back of the deck says you are rare and free. There are not many like you. Let's get some advice, please, for pile number 2. Trust in your higher self to guide you through the situation. But trusting in our higher self, you can see it's led by the eagle spirit. Trusting in our higher self is going to require a little bit of bravery too, and some leaps that we have to, that are scary. Leaps that are scary here. But here it says resolve on the back of the deck. You will overcome any obstacle. And you picked the keys on the ring, and here is your beautiful elephant missing a tusk. Perhaps some sacrifices needing to be made. But there's just endurance, and there's purpose, and there's leadership with the elephant energy. And so Spirit says that this is worth the wait if you are prepared to take the steps you're guided to take in this connection. Let's get a charm bowl for pile number 2. It's always important to remember the purpose of tarot is for us to reflect upon what Spirit's bringing towards us, the awareness that they're trying to bring to us. But it's never a shove. They don't want you to feel pressured. They are just bringing forth information that we intrinsically already kind of have available to us. Oh, we have 4 today. We have the Wheel of Fortune, the Two of Swords, the Two of Pentacles, the Five of Cups in reverse. And you had the Five of Cups as the center of your reading. And here's your Five of Cups in the reverse position, which is the requirement of a new outlook, new perspective, which brings about hope, to a situation. There's definitely hope here for you, pile 2. And even the 2 of Pentacles is here as well with the 2 of Swords. It's going to require a decision. You may not be prepared to make that decision right now. And that's okay. 2 of Pentacles says you know that you're going to have to make this decision eventually. And that's what Spirit wants you to understand, is that everything will lay stagnant until that decision is made. We have R and A and P and T. We have make, and we also have the screw. I feel like there's a lot of sexual energy here. We have the Tower, and it's right next to the cupcake. So there could be relationships on either side here. Somebody who wants an easier path, wants their cake and eat it too a little bit. We have Gemini energy, and we also had Gemini somewhere under here. We had Gemini energy within your spread with the Knight of Cups. This is someone who wants to bring forward an offer, but is really afraid of being vulnerable and what could be lost. All right, pile 2, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. If it did, I would love to hear your story below in the comment section, and I would love for you to subscribe to the channel, hit your notification bell and your like button, and be sure to drop me that comment below so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. You can also check me out on Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to, and that link is below. But I hope that you come back here for another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Whoops. Hello everyone. In pile number 3, you were drawn to the Hematite here, or perhaps to the Touch the Sky card, and this is your reading. Is the person on your mind, the connection on your mind, worth the wait, or should you move forward from this connection? The Touch the Sky card does talk about the opinions of other people weighing down upon you perhaps here. It's also like this lifeline that's reaching down. It's very daydreamy. It's like you think a lot about this person, wondering if they're thinking about you. You wonder if it's one-sided a lot. And I think that's a very mutual thing in this connection, because this card also speaks to being more welcoming, perhaps a little bit. It speaks to sort of making it more known that we want connection, because it's hard for other people to follow us unless we give them the sign that they're welcome to come into our life in some sort of way. So we will see how that is interpreted throughout your reading. Is this connection worth the wait, or should you move forward from this connection? Seven of Swords. I feel like you could lie about how you feel about this person in your current, if you're in another relationship, or I feel like there's just a lot of thought that goes into this person, and it's like I think about this person more than I should think about this person. It's like there could be very long in your past, and by all intents and purposes, it's like I should have moved forward from this point, but you can even see it's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex following us around, and where there's smoke, there is still fire. So we may be lying to ourselves and other people about our feelings here. And there's definitely a sense of needing the help. It's like both of you needing a lifeline. It's like you need closure here. I don't know if things were left very sort of messy or unclear. Very jumbled and confusing. Yeah, Seven of Cups. Very confusing between the two of you. And that, it's sort of, honestly, that has been the worst thing about the entire experience. This confusion has led to so much insecurity. It's just been like a knife in the side of this connection, making it so much bigger than it has to be, making the feelings, the insecurity so much bigger than it actually has to be. I think there's a lot of fantasy that goes into this connection on both sides. And I think that it stops at fantasy sometimes, because it's so much easier to do that. We have Temperance here on the back of the deck. We have the Six of Cups. You may have gone to school with this person, or you may have just grown up with them in some sort of way. There's a beautiful sort of innocence. And I feel like there was a very obvious connection between the two of you, but nobody ever really said it out loud. There could have been a lot of flirtation, but nobody really said it out loud. I think it was like the monster in the room. And it's like this natural progression of like just slowly time slipping away and then running out of it. Where we sort of took for granted the connection itself and how strong it was, and we expected it to flow naturally without our assistance. Perhaps we were a little bit too complacent in the past, and it's like we established ourselves as just a watcher in that connection, standing on the outside observing instead of being an active participant, because it feels like we thought we had more time. But since then, we've definitely learned, or we're encouraged to learn from those moments and those opportunities, because that's all the past can sometimes afford to us is education. We do definitely have a passive energy here that requires reflection. It's coming out with the moon. Because it's like both of you are in this stage of so much fear associated with actually taking steps. And some of this entrapment, some of this indecision could be because of other people's involvement. I'm not saying that it's an open, clear road and it's so easy and it's just the easiest thing to trot down that road. Obviously, there's lots and lots of things here that could get in the way and do. The Ace of Wands. But there's a lot of, and there is a mutual desire to have this reconnection with the Three of Cups. It feels very much, and this has been sort of a bit of a theme today of friendship. This started in friendship, or it's started when, in a simpler time, when there were less responsibilities, when we had the freedom to explore and have fun, and there's just a lot of beautiful memories associated with this connection. And now reality, today's reality, hits us like a ton of bricks, and we feel like that beautiful life has sailed and we're stuck toiling. And there's definitely an air of, again, education or lessons that have been brought about because of this situation. But we do have the Eight of Cups with the Ace of Wands, and they say there may not be any actual movement. And the Eight of Cups does encourage us to remove ourselves from a situation that is no longer serving us and perhaps keeping us stagnant. Because they say that it's not, it's like you're toiling away, trying to figure this out on your own, stuck in the confusion, and it's not serving you. It's just leaving you sort of in a state of anxiety, of confusion. And so they are encouraging a healing energy to come in and a more of an inward focus so that you can heal. So they are encouraging you to move forward here. And more inspiration, more beginnings, more happiness may be waiting for you on the other side of that. Now, these are suggestions. Spirit is just bringing forth suggestions because, in essence, you asked by clicking on the video. Ultimately, they will follow you down whatever path you choose. This could also really indicate that there is a real reason why we have to move forward, because there's no availability. And there may not be availability in the future. And because the requirement is for someone in this connection to perhaps walk away from their unfulfilling situations, because that seems to be precipitated in the future, Spirit is encouraging you to move forward. We have here falling, the unknown, descent, momentum, and change. And it's, the Four is all about, steps that we take. The Four reminds me of the Four of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, but I also think about the Tower energy with this card as well. It's about the epiphanies that sometimes come in too late. And then we feel like we need someone else to bring closure into the situation. But that's what Spirit wants us to understand, that throughout this process of self-reflection and healing, that we'll come to understand that we are the only ones that can give ourselves closure. There is definitely a sense too of being watched. I'm not sure if you perhaps watch this person, and I feel like you could live far away from them, maybe even a different country. We have here mortality. Life is brief, bright, beautiful, and yours to live. The mortality card is like the death energy, but there's almost a sense of, and I hate to say this, there's almost a sense of celebration about the whole situation. There, even with the Three of Cups, with the mortality card, there's a sense of celebration, because it's like the biggest challenge perhaps afforded to us within this connection is to move forward to that next phase for ourselves individually, into that next step, because that may be one of the most difficult releases you will have to ever sort of work towards, because this does feel like a very strong connection. Back of the deck says growing up. It says wanting to grow in experience and rejection of perpetual youth. And that's so hard. It's so hard sometimes to learn some of these really difficult lessons in the aftermath. And again, Spirit will follow you down whatever path you choose in this connection and help you see spiritual truths. We have snake healing. You are a healer, and you may work perhaps in the healing field, but more importantly, the star is really speaking of that healing towards your inner peace that is required here, because this is difficult on you. We have here make a decision and take appropriate action. So especially if you find yourself resonating with the message that you may be in some sort of physical situation that, in order to create change here, you need to execute some sort of release, or you need to walk away from something that's no longer serving you. That's why Spirit wants us to understand about the nature of tarot, is that it's a reflection tool, that it's projecting an outcome based on our present energy and the seeds that we're planting or sowing right this moment. So if we execute more change, if we apply pressure to the situation, if we step outside of comfort zones, we can shift the tide for our own momentum. We can't control another person's thoughts, feelings, or intentions, or their ability to step back towards us in boldness. We can't do that, but we can control our own steps and our reaction. We have speak less and listen more. An encouragement from our guides and angels to communicate with them more. Guys, please for pile number 3. We have here prayer. It's reversed. Making lemonades out of lemons, making the best out of a situation. And sometimes that's what we learn from these really strong connections when we feel like we've taken missteps. Spirit wants us to instead consider that maybe where we're sitting in life right this moment is exactly where we need to be. And this moment of epiphany or this moment of release is exactly what we need in order to continue on our path. We do have acceptance on the back of the deck as well. Let's get a charm bowl for you, pile 3. Charm bowl, please, for pile number 3. Pile 3 in the bowl. Whoops. On the floor we have the 9 of Wands. It's like we've been holding on to this connection for a really long time, but it's not serving us anymore, and that's why his head is all bandaged. There's the Devil reverse. There's the 7 of Swords reverse. His head is all bandaged. It's like it's not serving. There's exhaustion associated with this energy. And the Devil reverse, here we have the Devil. Capricorn energy could be very significant to the connection itself, but it's like somebody has to remove themselves from a difficult situation in order to create change here, and there may be unwillingness to do so, but there's also a lot about fantasy in the bowl right now, but the secret fantasies that this person has or that you have about them. And then we have the 7 of Swords reverse, things coming to light, things being revealed to us, epiphanies perhaps, and trusting our intuition in the future. We have the strawberry, the black star, and that black star is all about healing and release. We have the angels watching over us. We do have the apple of temptation, the dolphin, playfulness, being present. We have the little star of Aquarius, so Aquarius could be a very significant sign as well. 7 of Pentacles, the Cupid's arrow, and the moon. The 7 of Pentacles is about impatience. and about pausing to decide what we want to currently build, what we have built, and what we want to continue to build. We also have here the High Priestess, represented by the curled shell, because it holds on to secrets, and so does the High Priestess. It's an encouragement for us to trust our intuition to guide us through every situation. All right, pile 3, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. Whoops. If it did, I would love to hear your story below in the comments section. And if you do drop me a comment below, be sure to subscribe and hit your notification bell so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. You can also check me out on Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to. But I hope that you come back here for another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a beautiful day.